Greetings. Today I would like to share with you some of the new features that are available in QuickShip surrounding properly charging freight amounts for prepay and add shipments. Now, these types of shipments that I'm talking about are things like a negotiated rate with a carrier, and you want to pass a portion of that savings on to the customer, retaining the rest of that negotiated rate discount to cover in-house expenses such as cardboard and packaging materials. There's also cases where if you deliver to residential properties or facilities without a loading dock, you always incur a lift gate charge. And if you forget to put that on your miscellaneous charges up front, when you get those freight bills, you either just eat that cost or you end up rebilling the customer for that lift gate additional fee. This is a way to make sure that you're getting those charges to the customer up front. Another thing is it could be that some of your products always incur an oversized or over length accessorial charge. Now you have the ability at the product level to add those charges so they're automatically passed along on a prepaid and add. Now, these are available in the latest version of QuickShip. And if you are using rate shopping through Kinetic 2024.2 and higher, the charges will also be automatically added to that rate shopping quote. So to begin with, we're going to start with the easiest one to do, which is doing that upcharge on your freight amounts on that prepaid and add. For this, it's actually set at the facility level. So I'm going to go into setup and I'm going to go to my facilities. And my facility is named default. This is a test database. Now I'm going to go down to my carrier information. This is set up on a carrier by carrier basis. I'm going to go ahead and edit my UPS. And for the rate adjustment, in my case, I'm going to say that my negotiated rate with UPS is a 35% discount. Now I want to retain 15% of that discount to cover my in-house expenses, and I'll pass 20% upcharge to the customer. So I'm going to upcharge by 20%. My default rate basis, this is based on the customer. In this case is my company as a customer of UPS. So that is our negotiated rate. You can use daily, which is the UPS list rate, or list is the FedEx list rate. So I'm going to select customer and I'm going to save it. So now whenever I create a prepay and add invoice to this customer, that freight amount being passed is going to include that 20% upcharge. There is another new feature too to be aware of under setup and application settings. There is an exclude UPS service charges. So in this case, my negotiated rate with UPS includes all of the maybe zone charges, maybe fuel surcharge. The rate that UPS is passing to me includes all those. So I don't want to overinflate my invoice to the customer on that prepaid and add. So this application setting, I'm going to set to true. The description is required. So I'll just say exclude UPS service charge. And my facility this is facility by facility basis. So that's just for my default facility. If I had additional facilities, I would also put that out for them. Now to talk a little bit about the shipping charge schemas. One of the main ones that I know we ran into quite a bit was the lift gate charge. So if I go into setup, and I'm going to go ahead and add a shipping charge schema. I'm going to hit add and type in lift gate. And then once I have this in this window, I'm going to click here so I get the option to add the values for this. And in my case, I'm going to do this based on the freight charge So I'm going to hit add, and I want to just include the highest freight value I can because I'm always just going to charge $50 for that lift gate. So I'm going to hit add. Calculation method in this case is going to be just rate by freight amount. So in this case, if the freight is between $0 and $99,999, it's going to add $50 to my prepaid and add freight amount returned. The other options in here could be important for things like, say you have maybe a 10% additional charge to congested areas. You could actually do a percent of the freight amount and set it to 10%. Whatever the freight amount is, add 10%. Maybe you do insurance on your products. So you can do a percentage of shipment value, maybe 5% insurance charge. All of these can be set up within this shipping charge schema. So in here, this is going to be rate by freight amount. In this case, I'm going to apply it to the entire shipment. So even if I have 5 boxes, I only incur 1 liftgate charge. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. Now, this apply if no freight charge is charged. This can be more for like a handling charge that you always just want to include. So now I've got that set up. And you can limit your carriers if you want. In my case, I just want this $50 charge, whatever carrier it is. Now to apply this to my specific facilities, I'm going to go out to my home screen here. And this is actually going to be done based on customer. So in my customers tab, I've only got a couple of customers. Again, I'm in a test database. But for example, let's say Fred Miller, he doesn't have a loading dock. Maybe it's a residence. So I'm going to go ahead and add that liftgate charge. And all I need to do is go ahead and select this shipping charge schema and save. And then once it's saved, I'm going to cancel out of here. The other option is if you have a customer with multiple facilities and maybe the main warehouse has a dock, but there's other sites that don't have a dock, you can go all the way down to the ship to level and add that lift gate to wherever there isn't a dock at that facility. And again, this will go ahead and charge that $50 on a prepaid and add amount going back to your freight amount and then invoice to the customer. One of the last things that I want to talk about is something fairly new with the latest release, and that's adding those oversized type of accessorial charges to the specific products. So that would be actually set up on the product. So I'm going to go into my setup again and go to products. And in my case, again, test system, I only have a couple of them. But let's say that this conveyor system always gets that oversized overlength accessorial charge. And I want to pass that along to the customer on those prepaid and ads. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this. And you can see that I have a product shipping charge in here. Now I don't have any shipping charge schemas for my products yet. So I'm going to go ahead and add. And we're going to call this oversized overlength. And add. Once I have this in here, it's the same way to add those handling charges like we did before, those shipping charges. So I'm going to click add in here. And this rate is going to be, so we'll say $100. So I'm going to add it. And in this case, I want to do my calculation is a flat rate charged per piece. And on this one, I'm going to charge it on shipment. So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and pick my overlength, oversized. And then whenever I have this product going out, this conveyor system, it will automatically return that $100 oversized accessorial charge. So there is, on top of all of this, there is a hierarchy that's involved in it. So there is a good document out on Epic Web that would show you what overrides what and when they do combine each other. So this is the document that shows you where the hierarchy takes over versus combining the various rates. So this would be helpful in troubleshooting. As you can see, if you have a ship to schema charge, that will override the customer shipping schema. Some of these other ones will go ahead and combine so that they will all be added on. So this might be something handy to have in your toolbox as well. I hope you have found the enhancements to QuickShip product as exciting as I have, and I hope you can find this helpful.